Redline oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Redline oil, formulated to win.
Formulated to win.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Formulated to win, proven by me.
Proven by me.
Proven by me.
Redline oil, formulated to win, proven by me.
Looking to replace your OEM diesel particulate filter or diesel oxidation catalyst? Look no further than DPFX Fit, a complete line of aftermarket diesel particulate filters and diesel oxidation catalyst designed as an exact fit OEM replacement with all makes coverage for light, medium, and heavy-duty trucks. With thousands of units in stock, we ship the same or next day, and be sure to check out our comprehensive reverse OEM lookup tool. Always new, never remanufactured. For more information, be sure to visit dpfxfit.com. That's dpfxfit.com.
This is WFO Radio.
Hey everybody, WFO Radio back on the air, NHRA Nitro, and they are burning nitro up there in Gainesville, Florida. Oh, that's right. We've got ourselves a great show. Ida Zetterstrom going to connect from Gainesville Raceway. I see Ida is down there in the ready room already, where I hear we have already had the first 340-mile-per-hour run of the season. Josh Hart in the Bernie's Dragster for John Force Racing gets it done. What was it? 340.47. My phone lit up like a Christmas tree, and it is super exciting to hear that everybody is out there. It is wild. We're going to go to Ida in a second. I ask you all to share the show if you're out there, if you love NHRA, if you love Nitro, if you love drag racing, if you are just bored in the middle of the day. Share the show, especially those of you on X. They changed the way the X thing works, so you got to go to our profile and you got to share it. But you can do that for us on WFORadio.com, on WFO Radio's X account. I would appreciate you doing that. Thank you so much. Before we bring on Ida, I just want to shout out the people who make it possible for me to go WFO, like Larice Motorsports Insurance. These guys do such great work for Lucas Oil Series sportsman racers. If you've got a race car, classic car, if you want to insure something that is out of the ordinary, these are the guys. Your racing equipment, your trailer, your tools, all of it, and it's covered. Unlike a lot of these bigger insurance companies, the ones that you see on TV, they have all these exemptions. Well, Larice, they are racers, and so they know exactly what you need. So call them up, LariceMotorsportsInsurance.com. Our friends at Total Seal Piston Rings and FTI Performance Transmissions and Torque Converters. We'll go into detail a little bit later on. HusseyPerformance.net. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, which is at Gainesville Raceway. Bernie's Speed Shop, BURNYZZ. How about Josh Hart? Foggett, of course, Marvin Rodak, and so many others. We'll get into them in more detail later on. That's how we keep the show going. But right now, we're going out to Gainesville Raceway, and she's got a lot of her followers already signed on. I saw the post on Instagram. Please welcome Ida Zetterstrom. What's up, Ida? How are you?
Hi. I'm great. How are you?
I am great. I'm great. Not as good as you, though, because they are burning nitro. You got nitro fumes in the air. The only thing better would be if you were testing yourself.
You are so right. I'm right now sitting up in the tower. I thought I had to get out the starting line because it gets a little loud. So we're just about to have a pass in the back here now, so it can maybe it gets a little loud. We'll see, right? Can you hear that?
I heard it. We heard it loud and clear. Well, we spent so much time together on the microphone this past season, and I had a blast. We can get into that a little bit. I know you'd much rather be driving, but it was kind of a fun way to spend the time. So here's the deal. Yeah. If anyone comes up, just, take over and tell us who's going to be running, and we can definitely hear it loud and clear. It's a sweet sound.
That was just Tony Stewart that just ran. So first pass for him, I believe, and looked really good, but it was an early shut-off run. It looks from the tire tracks that it shook a little bit, but I'll leave that to them to say how it feels. But like you said, the track is good. The first pass down the track was a 340-mile-per-hour pass. So I don't think that any of the teams here are complaining about the track.
Right. What does that tell us about this season, right? Josh Hart, 340.47, a 3.70. Let's hope that's a harbinger of things to come. We got people out there saying good morning. Britt says good morning. Good morning, Joe and Ida. Hey, everyone. We got a nice audience out there. But we've got big news to talk to you about. Where we last spoke in person, it was very quick in Miami. You had done a media hit down here in South Florida, did a couple of radio stations, and you were still up. Someone's texting Ida. And a week later, you got yourself a ride. No, I still see you. We still got you. I see you. You are good from my perspective.
Hold on, I can't hear you. Let's see. 2 seconds. I can't hear anything. I'll be back. Hold on.
Yeah, we're gonna kick her out. Yeah, that's it. And so now is when we get to talk about Ida. She's doing a great job in chasing speed. All that stuff. No, you know what? I'm going to use this time to invite everybody to click subscribe. Those of you watching on YouTube, click subscribe and never miss a show all season long. Ida, your reaction time was incredible.
I couldn't hear you, and there was nothing I seemed to be able to do from here, so I thought, well, let's just reboot and we'll be back.
That's the way it works, and it sounds great. And it's that when someone texts you or you get a call, you might have to reboot just like that. But hey, you got a ride. Shawn Reed Racing splitting the role. I think that's way better than nothing. And Absolutely. I love Wendland. Like, that guy is one of my favorite crew chiefs out there. And Shawn Reed is near and dear to all of our hearts now. Yeah. How did this all come together?
So I want to say, obviously, thank you to Joe and PJ for everything that we have done together. We had some really good years, but we knew by the end of last year that they were kind of planning to taking a little bit of a step back and not having cars in competition in next year. And obviously, I did not have the funding to be able to go out there and run a full season. And I know that was our common goal from the beginning, to work up to where I had enough partners that we could run a full season together. So knowing that I didn't have a ride, it was important for me to find something new. And I was talking to several, teams and tried to find something that would be a part-time season for me with the partners that I do have. And it's very important for me to have a good home for them and a good team. And Shawn called me up and we talked about, different visions and different things that we wanted for the future. And like it said in the press release that went out, that Shawn's vision is that we will have 2 cars. That was what we want to do. Him and I want to run full time together and have 2 cars out there. But since we were not able to make that happen for this season, both with timing and the funding for it, he said that I got a lot of work. I got a lot of It vibrates so much that the phone yesterday vibrated off the table. No, but he has a lot of work. Like, we know he runs a business, and obviously he wanted to get this started so that we can kind of build on the future together. And that was what he's going to do. He's going to get out of the car for a little bit. I know he doesn't want to do that. He wants to race as much as possible, just like me. But he's given me a great home and somewhere that I can bring my partners and feel really good about it. And a fantastic car and fantastic team to be part of. I'm so excited for many reasons. Obviously, this is a really good car, a really good team, a great opportunity for me. It's an open cockpit car, which I started off with in Europe and I still really, really like. So that's kind of exciting for me. But also the fact that the car is going to run every time, every race, like no matter if it's me or Shawn in the car, that builds momentum for the team, for the guys on the crew. They're always out there working no matter who's in the seat. And I think that that's going to be a really good foundation I might not have as many races as I want, but when I get in there, the car's ready, the team's ready to go, and we can go out there and throw down. And I'm hoping that this is going to be my best year so far out here.
I love it. Who's on track?
Alexis, that's where I'm peeking over. So Alexis first pass with John Force Racing, and then
can you turn your camera around so we can see the track?
See, it's just a little dark.
Turn it around.
Hold on.
This is like a half quality broadcast anyway. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
there we go. There it is.
It's a little dark.
Courtesy of Ida's. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can see this.
We can see. It's fine. Look at that.
Straight as an arrow. Really good. It was an early shot off and 408 at only 244 miles per hour. So I would say that that's a really solid start.
All right, turn your camera back.
See if I can turn this back.
Yeah, you did good. That was great. Okay,
that was straight as an arrow and looked really good on that pass. So I'm sure they're quite happy with that on an early shut off pass.
A season of change, so much change going on, and I'm under the impression that everybody is there testing. Stewart, Force, Coletta, obviously Shawn, everybody there. I love the strategy of Shawn having the car out there full season and building the business. He said it like, okay, like the hook is set with this guy. He's not going anywhere.
No, I mean, and he wants to race. He's just like me, wants to race as much as possible. But we all know it takes money to go racing. So I keep working on finding more partners, and so is he, and also working with making sure that his business is running as good as it needs to be. Like it's just all of this is important factors. But he also said several times that as soon as we find some more money, we want to go out there and build another car and order another trailer so that we can have 2 cars on track. So it's great to have that common goal of the future of 2 cars and also the future of running full time. And that was something that was kind of important to me too. I looked at some opportunities where I would be able to be in the car for a little bit, but it wouldn't be something that could develop into a full season for me. So that's why I feel really good about this, because it's something that's strong for the future, and it's a good foundation. And I feel like all my partners have been really happy about the news. So. You've
got Shawn Reed, you got Ryan Elliott, you've got Rob Wendland. Rob is a very smart guy. And your fans, obviously, Ida rocks. Congratulations to Ida. Hoping someone picks up Ida to be able to run the entire season. See, I don't know, Ida. I think I don't know if I agree. I think you found a home here. I think this is smart. This is a team that is new and growing with big plans, and you're in on the ground floor. And this could be a 2-car Top Fuel team as soon as you find money. And now
we hope that a sponsor picks me up and we can run the full season. That's the biggest hopes, Yeah.
It could happen. It could happen right away. And they see something in you as well. And everyone has, because of Chasing Speed. We are 4 episodes into Chasing Speed. The 5th episode is tomorrow, 9:00, Vice TV. Hopefully everyone's watching it. What's it like seeing yourself on this show, and what has your thought been so far about it?
I think the show is fantastic. I think they've done a really good job of I love the fact that we're highlighting the drivers a little bit more. I feel like our sport has always been about, it's loud, it's fast, it's cool. A lot of times, the car, you recognize the car, but you want to know the drivers, you want to see more of the backstory. Some of us share more on social media than others, and the ones that do, you might be able to get that behind the scenes look and get to know people more. But if you don't, you might not know as much about these people. I've heard several people that I've talked to that said, I didn't know this about Blake Alexander, or I didn't know this about Jasmine, not myself. So I think that this is a great thing to giving like a little bit more of a look into that. I had not seen the episode before it aired, the episode that's more about like the females in the sport. So it was definitely a strange feeling watching yourself. You don't know what you're going to do, basically. So it's fun, but I think they've done a good job. I'm looking forward to seeing more of the episodes. I think that the last episode 6, is going to kind of tie in the season a little more. And I'm hoping to see some more highlights in that. I like the fact that they share both the good and the bad part of it. And I'm really excited to see the next one and the 6th episode, and I hope that they're gonna do another sequel, like another season of this. So if this is going really well, I hope that they're gonna start filming and we're gonna see more of these personalities out here and get to follow more of these stories. So.
Well, exactly. It's people want a reason to root for someone, and
a lot of times you root for the people. You don't, even when it's a team, sometimes you root for a team, a football team or whatever it is, because you really like a certain people person that's on it. It's all about personality, and I love the fact that our fans get to see more of that.
Yeah, it's been great so far. It's funny who you talk to, right? Like drag racing fans want to nitpick. Oh, who we got? Who's on track?
Maddie Gordon.
All right. Last week's guest, Maddie Gordon, interviewing the archive guys.
It looks really good. They're clapping some hands down here. It was not a full pass. I'm sure it was a planned earlier shut off, since it was her first time in a Top Fuel dragster. She did a good job. It looked really good.
Right. Going through the licensing process. Someone asked earlier if they will be streaming testing, and the answer is not this one, but the one prior to the Gator Nationals. Yes, because I will be up there Tuesday and Wednesday. And who's running the Gator Nationals for your team, Ida? Is it going to be Shawn?
It's going to be Shawn. Yes.
Okay. Do we know
I'll be coming out a little later in the season. We know when my plan is to get out right now, but we're waiting a little bit to announce it, because can always be some sort of changes there depending on if we have more funding coming in. It might be even earlier. We'll see what happens on that part. But no, and with the streaming of this, I know that I saw someone said, hey, last year we saw a stream of the testing. But what you normally see a stream of the testing is actually the test session you mentioned that's coming up right before the Gator Nationals. Because I was down here testing last year on one of the private test sessions. It wasn't a pro test session, but it was a test session just about these dates prior to the first race, and there was no stream from that either. So sometimes we do the test sessions without a stream, but definitely if you want to see some testing, tune into the one that's going to be right before Gainesville.
Tuesday, Wednesday, prior to the Gator Nationals, the entire world is going to be there. It's going to be madness, and we're going to have the whole NHRA TV stream. I'm going to be on the mic. I believe Loans is going to be there. Galvin is going to come in at some point. We're going to try to entice some drivers. You're invited to come upstairs, Ida, and do a little chat with our audience throughout that process. But yeah, not every test gets streamed now, guys. I saw some people talking about how, this is shortchanging the fans. No, it's not. No, it is not. Every baseball team doesn't stream their practice sessions, their practices. Some things are still just private. And guess what? If you watch WFO, you've already seen a couple of runs down the track, thanks to Ida. How was your experience last year working on the broadcast team? You did a little bit of everything. Again, we hope to never have you back because you're a sponsor driver chasing championships.
Unfortunately, I think you're gonna have me back a little bit since I won't be running a full season this year as it is right now.
You're welcome.
But it was really fun. I mean, it was not something I took lightly, saying yes to that, because it's a hard job. Like, people that think that, well, you're not in the cars, you might as well just go do this. Yeah, but it takes a lot. Like, especially, I've said it before, English is not my second language, so sometimes I feel like my brain needs to reboot a little bit when I'm thinking about stuff. But it was really great because I feel like I got to be part of the racing even when I wasn't in the car, and I got to give a little something back to the sport at least, and I got to learn a whole lot because, like I said, this is not easy. I messed up a lot, and the more you do it, the better you get at it. In the beginning, when they asked me, where do you want to be? Do you want to be in the booth? Do you want to be in top end? Do you want to be down at the starting line? I didn't know, because you just got to do it to see where you fit best, what's the most easiest position for yourself, and so on. I usually felt like when I did top end, it gave my brain a little bit of time to think about my question before I actually answered it. The hard part when you're in the booth, you got to talk all the time. You're talking about what happens down the track, and that scares me a little bit. But I also feel like that's the part where I can use my knowledge as a driver and share, my experience when you see something in the car or on the bike, since I've been on a bike too. You can explain to the fans how that might feel or why that might happen. And I like that fact, to be able to sit there and kind of be part of the runs. And honestly, when you're there, you actually see every run. When you're in the car, you rarely know what anybody else is doing. So at least you get a good catch up on what everybody's up to.
Absolutely. No, well, I think you did a great job. I had a blast. It was a lot of fun. So, if you come back this year, who's on track?
Me approved.
All right. So
really good pass.
Stewart went down a little bit earlier in his elite car, and Leah goes down. What are the numbers? Can you see? Are the boards on? Yeah, the boards are on.
I can see, but I can't see. I see that the speed is down, and it was a 394 with looks like an early shut off. So looks good.
Way to go. Yeah. Meanwhile, Grubnick is off the trailer with a 340.47. Josh Hart becomes the fourth driver to go over 340. That is pretty amazing stuff. 75th season of the NHRA. You have watched NHRA drag racing from afar as an FIA champion in 23, and rode motorcycles there. Something I learned about you over the course of the year. I admired the fact that you'd stick it out through Pro Stock Motorcycle, and you had a lot of great things to add about the racers. It's like, oh man, Ida has raced motorcycles. She's raced Top Fuel. It's so great. Here we are going into NHRA 75. As someone who has fought so hard to just be here and be a part of it, and now you are, what does that mean to you? There's a lot of debate about what does it mean for any company to last 75 years, let alone a sport, a culture, whatever this is that we all love. 75 years. Give me your take as we get ready to get started.
Yeah, I mean, I love the fact that I get to be part of the 75th year, even if it's on the mic or a little bit in the car, how it's going to look. I'm really proud to be able to be here. It's not something that I take lightly. I worked really, really hard just to get here, even though I'm not where I want to be yet. I obviously want to be full-time and chase that world championship, and I want to have Wallies at home that I can win. You know, there's still a lot I want to do, but very, very proud of being able to be here for the 75th. I think that there's a lot of things that's going to happen this year there's so many changes. Like this off season has been crazy. So it's very cool to come in and see all of these new teams or new roles, new drivers moving around, how it's going to take shape. And I think that the 75th year is just going to be fantastic in so many ways. When we get those changes, I think it makes it even more interesting for the fans, because you get to see how people find kind of new ways or new positions at other teams or so on. I just think it's going to be very interesting. But it says a lot of my 75 years. I know when I was a kid and I grew up in my dad's workshop, we always had National Dragster laying around, and, you know, we kept up with everything that happened over here. My dad was a big Pro Stock fan, or is a big Pro Stock fan. So that was the ones that he kept up most with. But I remember first time I was at a drag race in US was actually not the first drag race. There was actually a bike race, but the first NHRA race was right here at Gator Nationals. So I started sitting up in the grandstand and, you know, watching the cars go down and just feeling like I wished so bad I could be a part of it. And at that point, I was still racing the bike. And I remember that was tire smoke. But I remember being down here by the starting line just a couple of years before I got to run here myself. And you know, when you want something so badly, it's hard to describe the feeling. That's exactly how it was when I was here. So that's why it felt a little extra the year that I got to do my first start at Gainesville, because Gainesville meant a lot to me. So I think kicking this off at the track here, for me, that's extra special. I know a lot of these racers, they're used to starting in Pomona. So for them, starting in Gainesville might not mean as much. But for me, seeing the 75th season kick off in Gainesville is very special.
I love it. I love the Gator Nationals. That's a big debate. Yeah. You know, we started for so many years in Pomona, and Gainesville was the East Coast opener. Yeah. But I love a start of the season sellout crowd with
absolutely
max crowd. That's one of our biggest crowds of the entire year. And there's just incredible energy and all that's going on in the state of Florida. We just had the Daytona 500, obviously. We'll have the World Series of Pro Mod, divisional racing, etc.
Yep.
You mentioned on the TV show, you mentioned a couple of times, I'm curious about it. I think we might have talked about it, but you're an electrician. You have a trade.
Yes. That's what I went to school to be, and I worked at us for many years before I went into management.
Not that many years, Ida. You're not that old. But
I worked almost 10 years at that company. So if that makes me sound old, that might. No. But yeah,
you must have started when you were 13 years old. How do you find that though? Becoming an electrician? That sounds interesting to me. That you would but chase a trade, which is a really good trade. We need more electricians here in America.
Yeah. So from the beginning, I was thinking about becoming. I wanted to be a pilot. That was my first. That's what I wanted to be for many, many years when I was a kid. I wanted to be a pilot. So I went to school, studied advanced math, advanced physics, and basically all the requirements that needed to go into pilot training. I figured out a year in that I really wanted to instead go to trade school and get an occupation that I could start working with right away. I also knew with my racing, having a pilot's license and working as a commercial pilot was not really worked out well with what I wanted to do in racing. And I looked at becoming a mechanic or an electrician. And at that point, my dad said, don't work with your hobby because it's gonna burn you out. Obviously, he's a mechanic and worked with his hobby for many, many years. And I thought, okay, I've always been good at math. I've always been good at physics, and I felt like the electrician trade is very interesting because you get to work with your hands, and that's what I wanted to do. But it's also a lot of planning that goes into it, and it's an education where you can grow a lot. You can get into more of the planning side of things, or you can obviously advance through the ranks and lead. I'm trying to find the English words for this, but lead the projects when you go out and do stuff. So I just felt like it was a good trade that fitted well for me, and I actually loved it. Like I did 3 years in school, and after my first year, I actually got to work for the summertime with an electrician company, and that's the company I went work for a little over 9 years. And I started out there working nights and working weekends and working summers while I was in school. And then I went full time working for them for several years before I went into management. And then I worked on management for electrical and plumbing in the store that they did. So I did a lot of project what do you call that? Like project estimates and did planned bathroom renovations, heating solutions and stuff like that. And then did a lot of stuff on the electrical and plumbing side on that company. And I loved it. It was a great company. I really liked that trade. The problem was that COVID hit and I got my Top Fuel license and started racing Top Fuel. And I lived on a small island, and every time I came back, we had to be in quarantine. And I just started having a lot of days away from work. And I felt like I am really good at this. I have a really good relationship with everybody I work with. I'm not going to be the one that starts not being there. Being a manager and not being at work, might not be the best solution. So I felt I got to get out and find a work where I can work everywhere I am, no matter if I'm on an airplane or sitting, at the terminal somewhere, or a boat. We lived on an island, so we go boating a lot. So I opened my own company and ran marketing. So that's something I had done on the side for many years. Obviously, with what we do, you got to get good at marketing, building websites, doing social media. So I did that for a few years before moving over here. I had my own company and had a lot of business on that side. And in 2021, I also took on working as a mechanic for a Porsche Sprint Challenge team. So I did 1 year in Porsche Sprint Challenge as the lead on one car in that series. And yeah, I've been doing a lot of different things, whatever I can do to get some money in and get better at stuff.
Well, listen, I love hearing those stories. So one thing that Americans admire greatly is someone who is willing to just work themselves all the way to get what they want,
whatever it takes.
And so the more we hear about you, like that's why I want people, even if we've said this before, right? People they don't hear it until like the 8th time it's been said.
No, that is true.
This girl is not just some girl who showed up because she's pretty and's got good photographs. Like, you have worked your butt off to get to where you are right now, and you're ready to work even more. And now you're getting an opportunity.
Absolutely.
That is amazing. It's amazing all the different things you've done. You got some fans, though. I feel like you've built some fans. How do you think that's going for the past couple of years from when you arrived to where you are now? How have things changed?
It has changed, but I will say I'm really happy for how I built my social media and my fan base when I was in Europe. It's really started taking off when I raced a bike, because by that time we built everything ourselves, our bikes, our engines, and we did everything in our own little workshop. And we traveled around with our own race team, and I shared all the behind the scenes. We shared, working on the bike and what we were doing. And I felt like the fan base that I was starting to build was a really great group of people that really wanted to see the behind the scenes of racing. And I love the fact that it translated so well when I went into Top Fuel. A lot of these fans, they were now, fans of me and my team, and not just fans of the bike I was running or, exactly which vehicle I was in. And we started sharing, all the behind the scenes when we were racing in Europe, and we were, starting winning races, and it grew. And coming over here, I was surprised the first time I ran in Bradenton. First time I ran in Brainerd, that there were so many people that came over and said, hey, we're great fans of yours. We've been following you since you raced the bike. We've been following you for a long time. Like, that means a lot to me that people have seen kind of the hard work that I've gone into this for so many years and been following along. Obviously, it's grown even more since I've been here. And I feel like I've been able to pick up a lot of fans from over here that might not know about my story from the past. But I'm very happy I did all that kind of groundwork. I still run my own social media over here. I do everything, all the edits and the posts and running the whole account. Like, all that is is done by me. But it also gives me a closeness to my followers and my fans that I don't want to lose. Like, I really like that. The support that I have out here really does mean a lot to me.
And I appreciate you putting out an Instagram story in like 2 seconds. Guys, I popped her over the YouTube link, like, here, Ida, here's the link. And it was 45 seconds later that I'm getting tagged in the story. It's like, how did she do that? You're obviously very fleet of thumb.
Thank you. Yeah, since I did this, is also something that helped me a lot when I started my own business and ran marketing for other race teams, but not just race teams. I didn't do a whole lot in drag racing. I helped some rally and rallycross teams on how to build their social media. A lot of the time, you share 100 photos of your car, but they don't show their own personalities. I was able to explain to a lot of these that your fans want to see you. They want to see what you're doing and what your team is doing, and more the behind the scenes than just photos of the actual car. And they were able to grow their accounts, and I was really happy with that. Grow their fan base. But the more I did it, because I did it for a lot of companies, anything from construction companies. I built websites and helped out a local gym back at home. Like, there's a lot of different industries that I kind of dabbled in, but the more you did it, the quicker you got at it. So one thing that's good for me right now is I'm actually really quick at editing a video, posting a video, getting back to someone that sent me a message or whatever it is, because with whatever it is, the more you do it, the better you get at it. So
just that simple. No, I love it. I appreciate it. People want to see the driver. The cars are cool, but they're at some point they're the same. They're an inanimate object. It's the people who make it happen. All right. What are you most excited about this season other than stomping on the loud pedal, to quote Clay Millican? You're going to be out there, but there's a lot going on. There's all these new drivers. It's the 75th season. The NHRA on Fox schedule was just released. We're going to 4 new tracks. We're going to the Potomac National is going to be on Big Fox. We're going to Rockingham. We're going to Michigan. We got South Georgia Motorsports Park, so I don't leave any out. What's got you excited? It doesn't have to be one thing, but what are some of the things that you're eager to do?
So a lot of things, obviously, but I'll mention a few things. So one thing is, well, obviously, to grow together with my new team. That's going to be very, very exciting. Getting into that car, I was so stoked. South Georgia Motorsport Park is actually one that right now is on my schedule. And there's some reasons. I raced there in 18 on the bike. So I feel like it's kind of full circle for me to come back and race in a Top Fuel car with NHRA on that track, since that was the first track I ever raced at in America with the bike. So that's going to be really exciting. It's also on my birthday, that actual race. I think, let's have a party. Let's have a good weekend.
No brainer.
Yeah, exactly.
Birthday, yeah. South Georgia Motorsports Park. Be there. You just sold some tickets, I think.
I hope people will be there. Yeah, that's gonna be a really good one. And then, other than what I'm doing with Shawn Reed Racing right now, I have been looking, and I know I've mentioned this sometime before, that I've been looking at doing some other racing just to be able to be out here. Like, I don't want to, no offense, Joe, but I can't be on the mic for that long because I'm starting to climb the walls. Like, I want to really be in a car. Everybody that knows me also knows that I absolutely love a challenge. I love to do something new. A lot of people ask me if I would get on a bike. I'm not opposed to get on a bike. Obviously, I've raced bikes before. It hasn't been pro stock bikes, but door cars have been something that's really, really interested me for a long time. And I've never raced a door car. I've never even run a door car down track up until 2 weeks ago in Bradenton. So I got a few test passes in a pro mod car, and I absolutely loved it. So we will see if maybe I'm able to find some funding and maybe try out pro mod a little bit.
Wow, pro mod, yeah, that would be wild. Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that, just because I knew that was on the horizon, and it happened. And a suspended car; those cars are wicked fast for what they are, and the fastest door slammers on the planet. And the whole suspension versus no suspension. Give me some driver feedback on what it was like.
I wasn't able to make a full pass. We were making some passes, adjusting for my weight and some things. I got to experience some tire shake. So now I know the difference of tire shake in a promo car and a Top Fuel car. So that's all good. But we got to make one pass. It was a little shorter, but I got to, get into second gear and fill it out. The cars leave really well. That was actually, the quickest pass to the 60 foot that we had done in that car, and it just felt really good. The whole routine for me was mostly trying to get into that car and see how I felt in it, because you never know before you get in it. Just doing a burnout in a car like that is different than what it is doing a car in a Top Fuel car where you have a throttle stop. It's different than anything else I've ever done, and you drive them a whole lot from feeling. And that's the thing, you don't know before you get in it if you can drive on feeling or not. So that was something that for some reason, I wasn't nervous at all driving that car. I just felt really good. Like just walk through the routines, try to do everything correct, and make sure I could get some good burnouts in. And no, it felt really good, and I was stoked to be able to do that. So I was actually really thankful that I got to make some passes. Yeah,
that's exciting. That's exciting. Well, listen, we love pro mod. I love all forms of drag racing, and you know, it's funny. People have been saying some of the behind the scenes. It's not criticism, but it's conversation about chasing speed, is that there's so many storylines to cover. There's so many things. And I'm like, yeah, welcome to drag racing. That's our blessing. And that's our curse. There's so much going on. Here come the alcohol dragsters. Here comes pro mod. Here comes pro stock. Like, what do you cover? What story do you tell?
Yeah, and I think that's the hard part too, because you want to share everybody's story. You want to share all the classes, but the problem is that when you only get like a few seconds with someone, you can't really show the personality in the same way. So I knew that they have 6 drivers that they have been following more, and then the storylines kind of intertwine a lot, and you also have other people coming in. Sometimes something happens, and you really want to cover that story. So I'm excited to see the last 2 episodes of it. But this series could go on forever. Like this could be a weekly episode when we just covered, one driver every week and one different classes. And this really could go on forever if we had the budget for a series like that. There's so many fantastic storylines within drag racing, and not just in the pro classes. I love the fact that we showed the sportsman series a little more in the last episode, and there's a lot of people that don't know that we have drivers like Shawn that comes out and, runs a super comp on the weekends, or just go around and do big money bracket races. And I think there's a lot of more stuff that we could cover. It's just, how do you do that with the time that we have? Like, it's just a 1-hour episode per week for 6 weeks. We would need this to go on forever.
Right. Well, I think they did a good job. I was really happy about
I think so too. Absolutely.
The bracket racing,
Absolutely.
Like showing the Corey Gallitti, like, here's a guy, he's a drag racer. Also, he does not run Top Fuel, but he's making a living and he loves it. And it's really hard. And it's a culture. It's a whole thing that we do that we're all part of. Pretty amazing. Ida, is there anything you want to say to the WFO universe out there and your fans that I didn't ask you about? Was there something that's on your mind, or something you want to say to everybody out there before we get started?
Not really that I can think of, more than, get your tickets to the races this year, because you're in for a good one. I think just by seeing the little passes that I've seen so far from the teams go down, seeing the atmosphere here. Like I walked through the pit, and you've gone in and you said hi to teams. Everybody is in a great mood. Obviously the sun is out. It's a perfect day for this, but it just feels like the atmosphere is already really high, and we haven't even kicked off the season yet. So if you can make it out here to Gator Nationals, then obviously we have the Fan Fest that Bernie's before. Come there for sure. It's, always a line out through the door, and you have a lot of drivers out there. I'm so excited to see how these new storylines on some of these teams and drivers are going to play out this year. I think it's going to be really, really cool.
All right, who's on track? This will be how we end it. You'll tell us about this run.
Ron Capps right now, and then I see Josh Hart lining up in the other side. So we'll see what he's going to do too.
Oh, you might have to have it hang out till after Josh. You okay with that? You could. Right.
I can do that. Yes.
Yeah, 340. Oh my goodness. Derail wants to know if Austin Prock is on site. I believe he is.
I saw Austin Prock in his driver's suit. I haven't seen his car down in the lanes yet. Hold on, let me take a look.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll stall for you.
I can see J.R. Todd in the lineup. I see some Pro Stocks cars. He might be underneath the tower, so I can't see him. But otherwise, oh no, I see him right now. He's standing on the track right behind Ron Capps' car with his driver's suit on. So I think his car is probably close.
Okay. Well, listen. Regardless, we'll do Caps, and then if Josh Hart goes quick, then we'll do that. Yeah. Otherwise, we'll let you go. Really amazing stuff. See, look, we're putting you to work here on WFO. The only stream.
This is a lot more calm, this announcing you and I are doing right now, than it normally is on a race day.
So you went on the air in Miami with my friend Vlad and Dan Day. How was that experience, doing an interview with people who know nothing about drag racing?
It was really fun. Obviously, we were also three girls, and when you're doing an interview and there's three people, and everybody telling their story, it's really interesting. Like, we got to tell him a little bit about what drag racing is and how we started our careers. So it's fun. Obviously, like, Maddie's been at the track for her whole life. Jasmine was able to tell the story of racing with her family, and how they got into the juniors, and how her dad kind of progressed through the ranks and wanted to run a Top Fuel team. And it's I think it's so cool because there's a lot of drivers out here that when you hear a little bit of their story, it sounds like, oh, I've heard someone with a similar story. But when you get a little bit deeper into it, we actually all have very unique stories out here. So it's fun to be able to kind of share a little bit more about that, especially to people that haven't experienced drag racing before.
They know nothing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Those two, Vlad is a friend of mine. I told him you guys were going to be there. You guys went on the air. It got way more than I ever expected, right? We played that.
That was a great episode. Yeah.
But hearing them ask questions, like, wow, man, they don't know what to make of this.
Yeah.
And you guys are like, Maddie was like, yeah, because if you can't do it, you better like get out. You better learn how to do it. It was a really good episode. Those guys did a great job. And you got to hang out with the female basketball players.
Yeah,
really
What's
fun.
Next
League. I saw a lot of your social. That looked like it was a good time.
Yeah, I did a jersey swap with Natasha Cloud after that winning game for them. She was awesome. And one of the first things she said, do you guys race anywhere close to here? Like, can I come out to one of the races? So that was very cool. So I think we're going to be able to get her out to a race. Another thing that I thought was kind of cool was, I don't know if you saw that US had a bobsled athlete in the Olympics. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name right now, but he had a Venom teamed helmet. And everybody knows that I raced with Venom helmets for the last 10 years. So I got tagged in a lot of those photos from the Olympics of him racing. So I put up a story on my social and I tagged him and I just said, like, great helmet. And then I had some photos of me when I raced the bike with the same helmet. He goes out there and he wins an Olympic medal for US. And an hour later, I get a message from him saying, oh, hey, that's badass. I want to come out to a drag race. So I said, which one do you want to come to? So we're going to get him out to a drag race. And I think it's a fantastic crossover. He just asked me, if we're racing, maybe he will come out to the New England one. But yeah, we're going to see if we can get him out there. He would love to come. And I think that's so cool because we knew that that's what he wanted to do. It's right. Yeah, I love that enthusiasm.
We always have to keep that in mind. All right, is that Josh Hart on track?
Yep, it is.
All right.
I want to see if I can turn this around.
Turn it around and maybe put it sideways. Let's see. There we go. All right. Josh Hart, left lane. Give the call, Ida. You can take care of it.
I can't see that a whole lot, but I'm going to see.
No, we can see. It's plenty.
Okay.
I'm hoping for another 340, guys. Like,
oh, yeah. And this is Josh's first passes in a canopy car, which is a little different. It's really cool to see he came out there and just made a full pass. 340 and 22.
Yeah.
Got it, guys.
It was worth it.
So we got
so I can
Josh Hart's second ever 340 pass.
He's 2 for 2. This guy is amazing. He's 2 for 2. Ida, thank you for coming on the show today. It all worked out perfectly. I appreciate it. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. But great job. Absolutely. And we're here for you. Anything that we can do in the WFO universe, we're ready to do it.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Have a great time. And I think that Shawn Reed might be running soon, so I'm going to go down and watch him.
There you go. Later,
have a good rest of the show. Take care.
There she goes. Ida Zetterstrom with us here on WFO Radio. How about that? You guys just watched Josh Hart make his second 340 mile per hour run. Back to back, 340, 47, 340, 27. This guy is getting it done. Like, will they be able to? Yeah, they will. They will be able to. And that is exciting. Guys, if you're just tuning in to see Ida, we ask you to subscribe to WFO Radio right down there. Click the bell if you're watching on YouTube or wherever you're watching on X, which no longer tweets out our live broadcast. And so we have lost a considerable amount of people who watch on X. Hopefully they will find us again in the future or just switch to YouTube. We went through that whole process in the past with other social media accounts. And whenever they change their algorithm, we lose viewers. So just subscribe on YouTube and it'll be just that simple. But very exciting stuff. Great interview with Ida. And we do this all year long. WFO Radio. We hear from the winners and interesting stories. Champions, JJ Brock, Super Gas, world champion. The Parade of Champions has been rolling on Fridays, and it has been great. I've been working on Project Pontiac. We're going to talk about that. We're going to get your comments, your thoughts, talk a little bit about chasing speed and the news of the week, like Billy Torrance is back, John Ode or Rick Ware Racing. All that is going on. But right now, I want to tell you about the folks at Larice Motorsportsinsurance.com. Holden Larice, they needed a product. They didn't find it in a way that they thought it was good. And so they made it themselves. Larice Motorsports Insurance. And the thing that makes them different is they don't have all those exemptions that you find with all the other companies. Like there are companies that'll write you insurance, but where is the car stored? And is there race fuel in the trailer? And where was it? Was it on the lift? Those exemptions are what cause you problems, because when you're calling and finding them out, chances are you've had a problem. Larice doesn't have those. They're pretty straight up. They'll cover the truck, the trailer, the tools, the pit carts, pit vehicles, and of course the race car into the water box. And then it picks back up after the turnoff onto the return road, which I think is great coverage. They will write you on-track coverage too. Obviously, that's going to be a little bit more expensive, but that's for you to decide. But in the end, are you ready to replace your entire racing operation? I'm not. And that's why I called the folks at Larice Motorsports Insurance. Go to LariceMotorsportsinsurance.com. Tell them you heard about it here on WFO Radio. When we come back, your comments for the remainder of the show, chasing speed, the television schedule, the Potomac National is going to be on Big Fox. How cool, right in the shadow of the Capitol. All that, we'll talk about it when we return right here on WFO Radio.
The number one source of friction in your engine is not what you think. Piston rings rubbing against the cylinder walls generate more friction than any other part of the engine. More friction and temperature means more wear and less horsepower. Fortunately, the team at Total Seal knows how to reduce friction and wear through innovative piston ring design. If it takes a piston, Total Seal can build a better ring.
For more than a decade, FTI has strived to become the leader in the aftermarket performance transmission and converter industry. We've joined forces with McLeod Driveline Components under the leadership of Top Fuel Funny Car pilot Paul Lee, and now have a larger distribution network, more resources, and more power. Come see us in the pits and ask how you can join the FTI family. It's not cheating, it is the competitive edge.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
I'm Steve Torrance, four-time NHRA Top Fuel World Champion. And when me and these Capco boys win races, we go straight WFO.
Steve Torrance, not going to be coming straight to WFO next year because Billy Torrance will be driving the Capco car. That release went out, I believe it was yesterday. Super excited to see the Capco team get in and on it. And Billy is going to run for the championship. Full pull for Billy Torrance. They're going to try to become father-son world champions. That is pretty cool. Now, we will miss Steve, and I hope he runs some races occasionally. But there's a big, from what I understand, transition, and they got a big business. They do a lot of work, and Steve is the next generation for that, and taking over a lot of responsibilities, and Billy's like, going racing. We'll talk to Billy Torrance at some point in the future. Guys, your comments in the comments section about all that is going on. Real quick, I do want to mention the folks at HusseyPerformance.net. Not just copper gaskets anymore. Valve cover gaskets, oil pan gaskets, exhaust gaskets. They have the composite gaskets for your combination. They can get them to you very rapidly. Usually they ship out the next day. So you call David Allen and the team, give them a call. It's 412-716-4872. Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania, all made in America, shipped out as rapidly as is possible in the highest quality gaskets you're going to get. Thanks to HusseyPerformance.net for joining us on WFO Radio. So many good things going on. Our merch is on sale. It was 40% off the past couple of days. All the WFO merch is on sale. Project Pontiac, guys, I have been working on. So I'm watching Chasing Speed, old school style, appointment viewing, like way back in the day. And I'm dating myself. You know, Seinfeld was on I think it was Thursday night, 9:00. And so that's what I was doing. I knew what I was doing. I was watching TV at 9:00 on Thursday when Seinfeld came on. And that's it. I made my appointment by that. That's how I'm watching Chasing Speed. I'm not watching the next day or on my own schedule on DVR. I want to be the first person to see it in the regular world. So I've been just enjoying this. And last week, they go up to Martin, Michigan, US 131. They cover Langdon and they cover Antron, and Anson was racing up there. And it was really interesting. They did not have to insert that. Like the NHRA, if you go talk to 100 people, a lot of them will say NHRA, something negative about their sportsman racers or their bracket racers, or someone will have something to say about, we don't get the love. Because it's, I think, just, people like to complain and people want more love. They do. They want more love. But to see Corey Gallitti and bracket racing as a concept in general take up a couple of significant minutes of Chasing Speed, alerting the viewer that this is not just pro racing. This is a culture. It's a society of people. This is something people do as their life, as their passion, as their hobby. There's surfing. There's off-road desert racing. There's 4x4. There's wilderness. There's hunting. There's fishing. There's drag racing. And these guys are out there. And Corey is like, yeah, what we do is harder than what they do. I'm sorry, but like, if NHRA had any kind of beef, they would have pulled that out of there. They would have been like, yeah, you can't have a bracket racer saying that our top fuel drivers have an easier time winning the race in our own show. You can't have that, because that's going to diminish our, and they did. They did. So yeah, I'm making a point of it because it's counterintuitive. It goes against what everybody says when they want to complain. It goes against whatever they said, that NHRA doesn't acknowledge bracket racing or they don't. Nope, they did. And by the way, US 131, how good did that place look? How excited did you get to go to US 131 for the first time this year? All right, let's see what your comments are. I can tell you that I am excited to go racing. Project Pontiac, been thrashing, guys. Now, last year was a total thrash just to get the car on the track. Project Pontiac, we have been, I have been thrashing to get this thing back out there. The car has evolved a lot over the years, from that to this to what it is now. But we're going to be on track in Orlando in 2 weeks. 2 weeks at this time, we'll be headed out there, week after next. So super excited. Hey, I want to thank everybody who checked out the Matty Gordon, Ron Capps interview. A couple of great clips up there. We've had a really good run at the start of the season, and we are inviting new listeners all the time. How about Josh Hart? 340-47 off the trailer. So what is the challenge going to be? The balance. We got to get the balance right. They seem to have gotten the balance right. So it'll be very exciting to watch. All right, let's see what people have to say about Ida. Another great interview, or announcers relaxing chat. Ida is great. Yeah, I got all kinds of text messages off the air. Everybody loves Ida. All right, she's gone now, so we can talk about her. Yeah, how great is Ida? English is her second language. She's growing up. She's going to become a pilot. So she takes advanced math, then changes her mind and becomes an electrician. And she's working as an electrician and then gives it up to become a professional drag racer. And she's doing it. She's doing it. So She's got it all. And most importantly, a talented driver. Talented driver. Is there a way to watch testing? This is one I saw some people, as I've been there before, but not everything can be streamed. Not everything. But like the divisional race from Orlando will hopefully be streamed. But this is a test session. The test session prior to the Gator Nationals will definitely be streamed on NHRA.tv. You guys should be all re-upping your NHRA.tv. That's one thing that I wish that they pushed a little bit more. NHRA.tv. It's like $100 and, I don't know what it is. It's $160. Maybe it's $168. My goodness, guys, you get a full season of drag racing. You got countless races throughout the country. You get all the content that's already on there. It's one of the best things going today. Woo! So get your NHRA.tv subscription. Ida is great communicator, natural. Yes, she truly is. Nicole wanted her to lift the tent. Yeah, she can lift the tent. I'm not going to ask her to start messing around with stuff at the tower. And then she goes to lift the tent and the thing comes crashing down and it's our fault. I don't want to do damage. Let's see. Ida's going from canopy to open cockpit. Yes, she is. It's going to be a little bit different. I think she'll be just fine. Monica loved the interview with Ida. Bug hunting, first podcast to stream a 340 mile per hour pass. Hadn't thought of it that way, but yes, another historic first for WFO Radio. Eddie says, Joe, you are the man testing peaks and news. Thanks again for all you do. Thanks, Eddie. Appreciate you. We only coming to Charlotte once this season. That's the big bummer is we're not going to see Eddie. Great job, says Matt. Thank you, Matt. Let's see. Clay and Tony Schumacher have a powerhouse team, have assembled this season. Also, Clay driving a canopy, says Mary Hapster. John Oberhofer joins his brother along with Nikki. So that old school Coletta brain trust coming back together at Rick Ware Racing. Remember, Rob Flynn had gone there for a little bit, and then Rob left because he was going to Caps. So it was Nikki and Jimmo. And now they bring in Jono. Nikki's going to be co on both. I think that's great. I'm a huge fan of all those guys, Jimmo, Jono, and Nikki, because they give it straight. They tell you what's up. If I have a question, even on the starting line, John Oberhofer, he's a swell guy. There's no other way to say it. And too much knowledge to not be on a team, world champion. And so I think Rick Ware, watch out. Rick Ware, Tony Schumacher, Clay Milliken, those guys, they got money. They got good parts. Fresh start. That's exciting. Let's see. Joe is on it. Yeah, is in talking about the 340. Let's get some shots of this thing, right? Let's see. 16 days until the Gator Nationals. You just gave me stress, Keith, because the car is not ready. Pro Mod race is a week before. So the week before, and someone mentioning Lights Out is going to be on Flow Parks. Lights Out from South Georgia Motorsports Park this weekend. The following weekend, you've got the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg IndyCar race, big happening, very close to the World Series of Pro Mod happening in Bradenton. While at the same time, I'm not going to be able to watch any of that stuff because we'll be racing Lucas Oil Series in Orlando. And I'm real proud of the type of racing that I can do. I'm proud of it. I don't have a Pro Mod. I just can't, guys. I did not work hard enough, but I got a Super Street car. And so I'm going to go race my Super Street car. I'm going to try to win one of those Diamond Wallies and not embarrass myself. David wants to know where you can find Alan's show. Competitionplus.com. Nicole Clark and Alan. I communicated with Alan the other day. I watched the first episode, and I thought that Nicole and Alan make a good combination. And Alan, with his 40 years of knowledge, his opinions are greatly appreciated. And I think, look at this. Look at the best covered sport in motorsports. We have got shows with experts, guests. You can hear everybody. We have our own network, like with shows all day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Seinfeld, The Bubble Boy, countless others, thousands of them. Everyone that's paying attention and not drinking the haterade knows people care about bracket racing. You know, well, people care about bracket racing, but do the bracket racers know that people who are in the NHRA and love the NHRA care about bracket racing? Like, that's who I'm talking to. That's who I'm talking to, because I'll run into bracket racers and they don't get it. They don't get it. Like, no, man, like everybody that works in the sport is pretty much a bracket racer. And I'm just trying to kill, Mac, I'm just trying to kill these things, to kill them off. These stories that have gotten out there into the public and just get repeated. Like someone posted the other day about Fox and how they'll put on underwater basket weaving instead of NHRA drag. That's just flat out false. That's not true. That's a, you know, like an urban legend from back in the ESPN days when it did happen, that people are still making those comments to this day. They're still making them. It's crazy. So no, folks at NHRA love their bracket racers, love their Summit ET Series racers, love their Lucas Oil Series racers. And, you know, there's a saying like, don't tell me your priorities, show me your budget, and I'll tell you your priorities, right? NHRA's budget with the moments that they have in this chasing speed, 6 times 44, to devote some of that to bracket racing and those of us who go out there on a Saturday night and try to bracket race just because we love it like anybody else's passion. I think that was a huge statement. I think it was big. I think it was very big. Now, granted, you got Antron Brown, you got Sean Langdon, and someone who was arguing against me could say, well, they were just going where the racers went. Well, yes, that is true. That is true. But there was thousands of hours of other topics to cover if they didn't want to showcase bracket racing, but they did. So I think it's a great idea. You know, maybe I'm overdoing it a little bit. 340-47, Josh Hart is on fire. Yes, he is. Got my tickets to US 131 tower seats. All right. I don't even know what tower seats are. Actually, I do. I've been there one time. And now that you mention it, best Summit centerfold ever, says Paul Boone. So the folks at Summit, I moved the catalog out of the studio, guys, because I was ordering some parts. But the folks at Summit sent me this wonderful placard. Like you see that one up there from Drag Racing Action when John DeBartolomeo, may he rest in peace, Johnny D. What a great guy. Johnny D. The people that we miss. What a great guy, man. Anyway, when we first jumped on the scene with the podcast, he knew I raced a little bit, and he did a story in Drag Racing Action. And, you know, I got the plaque and put it on the wall to commemorate that. If you end up in a magazine and you don't pay for the plaque, well, Summit, I didn't have to pay for anything. Summit sends this amazing full spread on metal. And I'm real proud of it. Apparently the catalogs are just hitting people's mailboxes right now. Ida talks a mile a minute. She is very engaging. She does speak quickly. I think that's the, the Swedish kind of just way. They speak very quickly. No brainer. Hope the weather is good for the Gator Nationals. Oh, look at this. And this week on the Power Hour, they're giving away a free year of NHRA TV. Way to go. You know, we're giving away some stuff too. Thank you, Mac. The Patreons. Secret Society of WFO Radio listeners, guys. And I'm not telling you have to join Patreon, but if you wanted to, our Patreon VIP listener club, patreon.com/WFO Radio. They get Monday Motivation. They get to watch the video of the Ignition audio only podcast, which is great fun. They get to hear it from Heiner Show, Michael Heiner talking in depth, deep pro stock stuff. Like if you're a fan of pro stock, I think that's the best conversation that's happening out there from crew chief perspective and what's going on in the sport from his perspective. And so, it's not always good. Not always good. Michael Heiner, great stuff. That's what you get when you're a Patreon of WFO Radio, plus more and more behind the scenes stuff. And so what I decided was that I have more than enough wonderful things here in the studio that once a month, our Patreons are going to get an amazing prize. One of them. Someone's going to get a random prize. We've decided to do that. So good job by the guys at Power Hour giving away an NHRA TV subscription. That's genius. It really is. And it's the best thing going, guys. It's the best thing going. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, it's not stable. It is the most stable it's ever been. You know how I know? Because I don't get all these text messages from people. Seriously, it's a pull shade. Really? Yeah, I'm not touching it. I don't like to touch it at all, even when I'm there. The pull shade, it could come crashing down on top of me, Nicole. And if it comes crashing down on you at Gainesville, I'm going to laugh. She needs a full-time ride. Hope Shawn can get it done. Shawn Reed, there's been a lot of changes over there. I had a conversation with Shawn at the PRI show, and not my story to tell, but things are different in 2026 than they were in 2025. And that team is operating more autonomously than in the past. And I think that Shawn has, he's given a digit to the sport of drag racing. And whereas in the past, he was trying to figure out how to get to where he is, now he's gotten to where he is, and he is not leaving. Not now. He's not leaving. Put Andrea through all of that. You saw her, the crash. Chasing Speed, guys. What are you thinking about that? Like, it's like this positive, uplifting, fun, funny episode. You're getting to know. You see Langdon in all his glory. Sean Langdon, like just looking into the camera and blinking. And Courtney Enders basically lays it out there. Like, I don't know this, but I hadn't thought this thought. But now that Courtney said it, Shawn is the kind of person that if he could just wake up and drag race and not talk to anyone and go home, he would love his life. He would do it. And that he's pure racer, not doing it for any kind of attention that comes along with it. Just pure racer. But anyway, you're watching the episode all of a sudden and vicious crash brought me back to Seattle and all the associated chaos that went with it. And I felt like you could argue if you could be a fly on the wall, like, should that have gone at the beginning of the episode, right? But what they did was they kind of lulled you into like things are normal. And then bam, they hit you with reality of what this sport can be. You can never totally relax because at any moment, something like that can happen. Really, really well done. So anyway, and after that, Shawn is like, we're going to keep the car on the track. I'm going to go grow my business. And maybe soon we'll have 2 of these cars. I love that attitude. Will we see a 345 this season? Anything's possible if you've got the weather correct. After the 343 in Sonoma, but it's another mile an hour and a half. But my answer to these questions is always, yes, we're going to see it. Don't miss a race. I'll be in Bradenton. Can't wait for some warm weather, says Parks. What's up, Parks, out there at the World Series of Promon? All about drag racing. We all love it and want everyone to share in our passion. We do. But it's hard growing the fan base one at a time with people you're talking in the mall. It's hard. That's why this show is such a big deal. My newest National Dragster column is mostly about this. That's a big deal. Like, if you're not watching the show or if you're hypercritical of the show, you're making a mistake. It's not for you. It's to run on Vice hundreds of times. And for people who are flipping the channels to see this, whatever it is, and become interested. And it has worked in nearly all other, not quite as good as Drive to Survive worked. Drive to Survive is an anomaly. There was a pandemic. It was brand new. Everybody locked in on it, and a cultural phenomenon. But Chasing Speed is going to be on Vice in reruns a lot. and throughout the season. And they're going to tie it all together with that 6th episode. I've heard some things. Maddie told me she's some things about the 6th episode. I know the Austin Prock leaves John Force Racing announcement is going to get addressed in the 6th episode. So if you're watching the sport and you're thinking about this kid, and then all of a sudden there's a twist in the plot, I think it's going to be, wow, this guy thinks it's badass. I prefer index racing to bracket racing. You know, Randy, so do I. Because of the Pro Tree, I bracket raced for many, many years. I always aspired to run Super Street, the class that I'm in now, and I'm amazed. I'm so happy that I get to occasionally race. And I love the Pro Tree aspect of it. You know who runs Pro Tree? Steve Torrance and Antron Brown. You know who also runs Pro Tree? I do. I run the same tree. Theirs is 4/10, mine's 5/10. But the staging and getting in, they're very similar. A bracket tree, top bowl bracket racing, bottom bowl bracket racing. I love that too. I love it too. But I always wanted to do the Pro Tree thing. And that's a preference. And most index racers bracket race, and many bracket racers index race. So it's either. My seat, Top Eliminator Club, Section 1, Row A, Seat 5. I'll be looking for you if that's Gainesville, because you're there. Section 1, Row A, Seat 5. I just don't know which way the numbers go, but I'll be able to find you. Big mistake. Waiting for my rain check to come from last year. From where? That's the thing. We got rained on in so many different places. Please, Mother Nature, please. It's the 75th season of the NHRA. Let us have a wonderful rain-free season. Re-upped NHRA and WFO for the year. Thank you, Wes. Wes is a Patreon. Thank you for re-upping. You got your t-shirt, right? Yeah, I remember sending to you. Patreon is a great addition to the WFO show. Well, I'll show you guys what we're going to give away. This was gifted to me several years ago. It is an amazing John Force piece of artwork that was sent to me by John, I think when I worked at XM Satellite Radio, and now one of our Patreons, right at the end of the month. It'll be a random draw. You just got to comment on the Monday Motivation Show. Shawn Reed talked about adding Jordan, so I see a 2-car team. Talks about a funny car too. Yeah, that's a lot of money. I mean, I think it's great. Anybody other than me every once in a while think, man, Don Schumacher, that guy, what a hero for drag racing. Seriously, like, you might not have liked what Don did or the way he handled his teams, because he was not quite a tyrant, but he would try to come across as a tyrant. But to have 8 of them out there at the same time and build the infrastructure and the hospitality that they were all profiting off of each other. Like he made a wheel that would spin and put money back into his pocket into drag racing. Like Don Schumacher, I know the guy is like beloved in Hall of Fame but think about it. Think about what he did, like the machine shop and the chassis shop and the building that they're still all operating out of, many of them. Tony Shortall told me that one time. A lot of people can afford to have one, Joe. Not a lot of people can afford to feed one. They get into the sport and they buy a car and they're super excited about it. I had a conversation with Greg Carrillo. Greg Carrillo's got a first-class Top Fuel dragster, but it's just sitting because he needs to find the sponsorship to run the car. That's the challenge. You can have one, but can you run every race, go over the road, put your guys up in a hotel, feed them, keep a crew on staff? That's the challenge. It's amazing. Guys, Marvin Rodak, 817-924-6821. If you like coffee, and you do, I do. I went for a cleaning today. They're like, you like coffee? I was like, yeah. 817-924-6821. Marvin Rodak's coffeeandgrills.com. Hot sauce, spice rub, everything good. Marvin Rodak, give him a call. He's such a great drag racing fan, such a big supporter of WFO Radio. We appreciate you, Marvin. Thank you very much for supporting our show. And Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Tony Schumacher tweeted out that Summer, his wife, is going to go to Frank Hawley's. That's great. Everyone should go to Frank Hawley's. Now, maybe you don't want to get your super comp license, go through that big process. You just want to have fun one day with Frank, like get your feet wet, like see if maybe you like it. That's what the Dragster Adventure is for, and that's what I always promote. FrankHawley.com, Dragster Adventure. But yes, and Jordan Vandegrift has been hanging out with Frank to get the picture in the funny car. Like, that's who people go to. Frank, when Frank retires, who's the guy? We don't know. FrankHawley.com. Tell him you heard about it on WFO Radio. Thank you, Frank, for supporting Frank in Atlanta. Thank you so much for supporting WFO Radio. And Bernie's Speed Shop. Josh Hart, 100,000 square feet. The Fan Fest, guys, is at Bernie's. The Fan Fest, Wednesday before the Gator Nationals. We will have just done the test. It will have been streamed. I'm going to get in the rental and go down about 50-minute drive from Gainesville, maybe even a little less, to Bernie's. So worth it. If you're fly in on Wednesday, fly into Orlando, drive north. It's about an hour, maybe an hour north of Orlando. Hour and 20 minutes north of Orlando. Bernie's Speed Shop, 100,000 square feet. It's a dealership for cars of consequence, classics, exotics, muscle cars. They do frame-off restorations. They do everything. They sell e-bikes. They've got a great business. I know a lot of the people at Bernie's check out the show each week. We appreciate you guys. And I got a car in my driveway that I've been trying to, I'm having trouble parting with it emotionally is really the problem. BURNYZZ.com, Bernie's Speed Shop. Thank you, Bernie's, for supporting WFO Radio. And Foggett, get yourself a can from Summit Racing Equipment. The engine spray Foggett, I'm using it on, I used some Foggett on a gate the other day. Maybe overkill, but I had a plan. Yeah, I had a little rust on it. I wanted to stop that. You can go to Foggett.com or SummitRacingEquipment.com. Get yourself a can of Foggett. Gary Stinnett and the team have done a great job. And just to everybody who supports WFO, Jesse Converters and FTI, Torque Calibration Services, Matt in Australia. Redline Synthetic Oil, Redline. Replace the radiator. In goes distilled water and water wetter. And that's it. Thank you, Redline, for being the supporter of WFO Radio. Mark, thank you so much. Very exciting. And guys, I don't know if you know this, but you could be watching the show on PowerTube TV. They've got app for Apple now, Roku, PowerTube TV, the new Pink's show, where Bruno is the host. That's all on PowerTube TV and WFO Radio as well. Life's a Drag is on. I'm hitting you with a lot of stuff right now. I just like clicking this stuff. Like, look at this guy, the Golden Gator. Has yet to really become the sought after side trophy that so many other things have become, like maybe the ice cream scoop or the wine goblet of Sonoma. But the Golden Gator is as cool as it gets. Someone's going to win the Diamond Wally and the Golden Gator. All right, final comments. Let's see. Bernie's Fan Fest. Yeah, you got to go to the Bernie's Fan Fest, guys. Right? NHRA's double drop frame tractor trailers are the most beautiful rigs on the freeway. I don't know so much about over-the-road trucks, but my dad used to always point that out to me. Like, Joe, even the vehicles that get them there are worthy of your attention. Thank you, Joe and WFO, for bringing us the first of many 340-mile-per-hour runs in the 75th season of NHRA. Burning some nitro. Thank you, Nose for Nitro. Yeah. Ida, great job, roving reporter. Kara Man, yeah, Kara, right? One of our Patreons is going to get that. Don is the reason I have loved drag racing since 1969. I think about Don Schumacher all the time. I think about him when I'm at the track. Like, that guy made a huge investment in the sport of drag racing from his soul and his wallet. And even though he has been gone a couple of years, and I'm not claiming to be best pals with Don Schumacher, I know there's a lot of people that were very close, his family, but you know, Al Davis, there was a 30 for 30 the other day about Al Davis, and I was watching it and thinking about like all that Al Davis did for the NFL and the Raiders, and he had to fight to do it, and he did it, and he got it done, and look where they are. Like, teams are, you know, worth billions of dollars. And Don Schumacher really did take drag racing from where it was to a new place with his, what do you want to call it? Marketing genius, the way he handled it. This person says JFR rules. Well, John Force also. Kenny Bernstein, John Force, Don Schumacher, like those guys grew the sport. Speaking of Austin Prock, is Team Tasca testing? Yes, they are. They are. And Austin is doing a good job with his social media. Kind of interesting. He like on Facebook, he can't share his social. I don't know if that's an oversight or maybe he just wants to have his private friends. You know, the people that are in there already. I'm excited for Austin Prock. I'm excited for the Jordan Vandergriff versus Austin Prock thing that will emerge after the halfway point of the season. I am not going to be critical of Jordan Vandergriff at all, but I'm not going to have any expectation until at least halfway through the season. It would be unfair for the kid who's, jumping in a funny car for the first time out of a Top Fuel career. I bet Sonoma this year 345, says Wes. Way to go, Wes. Way to say yes. Watch Clay's new video, NHRA is alive and well. Well, that's the thing, man. I could find you some people that will tell you that the NFL is dead. I could find you some people that could tell you that Bad Bunny doesn't sell any records. I could find you some people that will tell you anything. I'll find a whole bunch of them. You want a toe? I'll get you a toe. It's easy with social media. We have got, I don't want to call it like something really dark, but there is a virus. I'll call it a virus that runs through the NHRA social media fan base. There is a virus that runs through the social media fan base where there is a very small number of people that just love to post negative stuff in an antagonistic way. And it's like, at what point do we just ignore them? We need more bugs in NHRA. Backup girls. I'm never going to say no to that. I'm not going to say no to that. And there you go. We got through the comments, guys. Just that simple. Bithlow. Looking forward to seeing everyone at Bithlow Speed World. That's where you're going to see me racing, hopefully. I don't ever make that announcement until I'm actually there. DSR versus JFR. Classic team rivalry. Thanks for another great show. This guy's doing a spot, but Mahalo products, great products for great participation in winning. I don't know him. How about that? Will there be a Monday Mo show this week? Yes, there will. Monday was a national holiday, President's Day, and when I can, I try to observe those. But there will be. It'll probably be a Wednesday or Thursday Mo. Those are working a little bit better because some stuff has happened. So what I'm going to do right now is go pick up my tuxedo for the International Drag Racing Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It's ready. And that will be done. Then, Project Pontiac's got fresh oil. The valves are checked. Got to wire a couple of gauges. And then, Project Pontiac is ready. Then we'll draw our attention to the trailer. Trailer's not ready. Hugs of positive instead. Well, I say it all the time. It's a choice. It's a choice. But you got to think about these people. Drag racing is dead. You can see that. No, man. But if you keep saying that, maybe you're going to make it happen. Because, I get annoyed. We're going to come at it all positive, like a, positive ion floating through the atmosphere. And when you see a couple of real negative comments from people, you don't know who they are, what they are. Gets you down. I can tell you that the people who work in social media that see all the real bad stuff, let's try to avoid that. Be like Ida. Do you get any negative from Ida? Is Ida capable of negative thought? That's a good question. Is Ida capable of negative thought? I don't know. I don't think so. I think the answer is no. And that's where I'm going. How about that? 340, baby. Josh Hart, 2 for 2. Maybe we'll have to talk to Josh Hart next week. I think that's a pretty big deal. Guys, thank you so much. Click subscribe. Click the bell. Never miss a show. Life's a Drag tomorrow, 12 noon, WFO.